Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good night to you all. Hopefully you're all having a lovely day. This time, my microphone is working, which is very, very nice. No, that can't pick up on the microphone. I was literally just gently caressing my monitor, and now my fingers are covered in dust. God damn it. But yes, good morning to you all, or good time zone, I suppose, since it's not morning for everybody. It's certainly not morning for me. Oops, it's 11 p.m. But yes, hello everybody! So, the plan for today is not to work on my Peculiar Plans article, because it's kind of done. I did have this problem, I had this exact same problem during the Hero Challenge, where I basically accidentally finished my article within 3 days, and then I had absolutely nothing to stream, and I didn't have productivity brain, a brain that functions and computes words, and so I was basically spending a whole month going, shit, what do I do? But luckily, unlike the Hero Challenge time, this time I do actually have other stuff that I can work on, which is nice, and that's mostly stuff relating to the campaigns that I'm in. So that's great. That said, read my article. Read it. Read my article. My article is good, I promise. And it's actually been spell checked this time. Which, so the issue is, right, I'm gonna scroll back up from up top, because this was the Hero Challenge article, and it's currently being featured because, of course, because it won, so it's up. And basically, as soon as it went up as a feature, I noticed 50 different grammatical errors. And so that's been a really fun experience for me. Just going, shit. Grammar. The little blurb? Would you call that a blurb? I don't remember what that's called. Is it the excerpt? Sure. Excerpt blurb thing. It literally had a typo in it, and I didn't know because I wrote it in 5 seconds, and then I haven't thought about it for 2 months straight. So that was a fun correction to make 2 hours ago. So that's been fun. But anyway, so the plan today is basically world building for something completely unrelated to literally anything else, any of my actual world building. My personal actual world building projects, because technically I have 2, even though I've done nothing in the Utremoor Synergasia setting in a couple of months. Hopefully I'll get there eventually, but we'll see what happens. But this is basically stuff that relates to the ongoing campaign that I'm doing, or that I am a part of. I am one of the players in a D&D campaign. And one of the things that will be required of me in the coming weeks, because we're about to finish module 1, which is the first arc, I guess. We're gonna go fight a bunch of slaving pirates, and that's gonna go great. And Niall is definitely not going to have a bad time, I promise. Everything is going to be fine. She is not going to have an emotional breakdown because a boat hit a rock. It's gonna be fine. She's also probably not gonna pass out. Probably. Definitely. She's not gonna get hit in the face and just fall over. Her HP is actually pretty good. But anyway, at some point after we beat the final boss of the module and complete the section and sail the fuck away, I will be expected to produce backstory. And that's what we're doing. So the reason I'm doing it as an article day is because, well, one, I would barely be an Anvilite streamer core member if I did not stream using the World Anvil. Second, if I do it like this, or if I did it for example as a Google Doc, it means I can edit it if something happens. Which I thought would be better than if I just send you a paragraph in a DM, I can't edit that if something changes. Like, if it's, like, for sake of example, right? Because I gave you the family tree, which I'm already gonna have to edit, because now Christina is a pirate, something which is not even remotely established on that family tree, and I feel like it's an important thing to notice. Not that Niall knows it, but not the point. Like, you know, that's already out of date, and I want to make, like, tweaks and possibly flesh out some more of the characters and, like, make sure shit makes sense. So I'm just like, eh. And so I like being able to edit shit. And I format brain sometimes, like, nice. Yeah, Word docs work too. Word docs do also work. But I mean, put it this way, like, I'm basically just going to be writing it in this software, and then you can just do whatever you want with it when it's done. Like, I'll just send you the link when I'm finished, and you can do whatever you want, and I'll let you know if something changes. If something big happens, I will let you know. But it's unlikely to, because pretty much because the thing with this character is that there is roughly 100 years where, you know, you could basically just slap an event into. I've realized that I've mistyped what her birth year is in the sidebar, which is going to annoy me. Like, there are some, like, I haven't filled out much of the preceding stuff before the, it's not an inciting incident, but I guess it kind of is in her overall life. Like, between 114 and 217, there isn't a whole lot of detail, right? It's mostly everything after 217 that is in some amount of detail, like, oh, you know, she got put in an assignment, and then she proposes, and then she forms a pact, and then she punches a guy in the face and gets exiled, and then, you know, shit happens. So, like, blah, you know. But everything prior to 217 is a bit vaguer. So if at any point, like, through the course of shenanigans, I, quote-unquote, like, as a player, I figure out that, oh, she would have done something like this during that time, I can just add it. And it helps me keep track of it. Now, to be fair, I do literally have a notepad, like a Notepad++ text file of these notes. So I'm like, this is basically just me not doing that. I can't accurately convey what the hell I've been doing. Actually, I can. Hold on. One moment. Let me convey the chaos that I've brought. Where is it? Oh shit. There it is. Done. Get blinded. I literally have a notepad text file that has all of my notes from the campaign, including the famous, where is it? He tried to throw Talia off a fucking cliff. This bitch, Niall's gonna kill him. Which is, I think, the only part that's funny. Well, I mean, some of it's probably funny, but I literally have a text file which has my notes in it. I can't really explain why it is a text file, but it is. Oh yeah, there's a bit where I'm like, shit's happening, but Niall would never. Because that was somebody's idea. But yeah, I have that. I'm gonna close the art program now. There we go. It's not an art program, another point. So yeah, I literally have a text file of my notes because it was easy. Yeah, I'm in the Matrix. Yeah, Niall is in the Matrix. You see, you know, you think of it as like the stars and like it's being a bird's eye view upon like the land. Nah. She is connected to the goddamn Matrix and she is pulling some shit. No. But yeah, like I have a text file and it's cool, but it's not great for keeping track of Niall specifically. Because like at the bottom, which is a series of disconnected notes about stuff. Ah, my apples. Close. Make that smaller, please. Move page. There it goes. It's just like talking about like random things that I've mentioned at some point. And some of it doesn't necessarily make sense. There's the miscellaneous bit where I was like, Niall got knocked out for a week because of dwarf brandy, because she, like, someone dropped, like, a plank on her. And in order to, like, fix it up, Talia gave her dwarf brandy and she passed out for a week. Because her delicate elf constitution was, it was too delicate for dwarf brandy. It was a time. She's had a fun 6-month journey on this boat. Let me tell you. She has had a time. But yeah, so basically what I'm doing is I'm just gonna write some of the shit. I've already written the notes of the shit that I know. So like, you know, where she's born, and I put, you know, she's from place. I can name it or something. I don't really give a shit. It doesn't really matter. Pretty much the only important thing here is that this is not a coastal city. She is not from a coastal city. Because this enables her wife to pull some shenanigans without her noticing. That's the whole reason she doesn't live in a coastal city. It's so her wife can pull, her fiancé, they didn't get married. Her fiancé could pull some pirate shit and she wouldn't notice because she's not there. It's the clever plans. Yeah, I worked on Synagogia. I did like, I think I wrote 2 articles during World Ember. I wrote an article about Ysser, who is the god of, like the sun god, quote unquote, of that particular area in my setting, and I wrote about Alicia Deloara, or something similar to that, who was an explorer, because the new person in the project had an underground setting, where if you went into the time mist, you ended up down there, and so I wrote a character for that. I have no idea what happened with that, but, you know, she exists. And I wrote those 2 articles, and I have done nothing since December, which I feel really bad about, but that's because I world build weird. And unfortunately, I did not start the world building the way that I normally would, so I'm a little confused. Yeah, her waifu, exactly. She lives in a not coastal city because then her waifu can go off and do shit and she won't notice because she's not there. She doesn't see the boat come in unless she specifically travels to the coast and waits. Which means it's all part of the plan. Christina has it figured out. Well, that wasn't the reason, but like it helps. Because like Niall can go, so when are you coming back from your next like trade trip? And she's like 3 months. And then what Christina does is she arrives 2.5 months later, goes to the Admiralty Court, hands in all of her bullshit, sails just off the coast like a week later, and then she arrives, and then Niall will be there. She's got it figured. She's done it. She gets it. She knows what she's doing. But that's pretty much the only thing. Like, I haven't named that place because I don't really care. I also don't know how elves name locations. I don't know whether to go full French or not. I can always go full French, but like, do I need to? Probably not. I don't speak good enough French to go full French. Which is why I still don't actually know how to pronounce Christina. Because I think it's Christina, because it's an X. It can make a Q. I can change that if I have to. And then I also have, so there's the notes of shit, which I'll go into more detail here. This is the big shit. And then I have the list of her relatives who matter. And also the 4 other people who also matter. 2 of them of whom are her retainers. To check what the actual province name was, the one that I renamed to Niall's house here. Yeah, I think Toulouse is not that one. That's not where Toulouse is, which is where I said. I can check. I can check that. I can say she's from there. Fuck it. That's where she's from. It's not a city. It's just like it's a province. Be like, she is from this part of the Sylvian Empire. Shh. Don't think about it. But yeah. So those are her living direct relatives. The important extended relatives, of whom she has many, but there's only 3 who matter. And then the 4 other people who matter. One of whom is a dick, and one of whom is her ex-fiancé. And they're all just bad notes. Eloise's son and a successful merchant. Rip my dude. And that's just how my notes work. They just end up just being rip my dude. Lol. He was friends. A merchant. Smiley face. Most of it's, you know, not too nonsense. Some of it's a bit. But yeah, that's the plan. I might not go full article on it because it doesn't matter that badly, but I can't even quote myself because I don't fucking remember anything that I say. So I can't even include a quote even if I wanted to. So, you know, the intro paragraph. I don't really give a shit. That, whatever. Okay, histoire. The histoire which is funky. Because she is the 3rd? Well, technically she's like the 5th. She's like the 5th kid? Yeah, she's the 5th kid and the 2nd of twins. Because Yanam and Jirara didn't go well for them. So she's the 5th child of 7, of which only 5 made it to adulthood anyway. Strictly speaking, oh, it's unloaded because I've had this open for too long. Christ. I hate when that happens. The image just breaks every once in a while. Yeah, like, technically he wasn't an adult when she left. Technically she wasn't either. But it's not really, doesn't really matter. Like, you know, adults. You know, it was pretty confident they were going to make adulthood because those two didn't get even close. So it's just like, 7. 7 children. That's a lot of kids. And like the only people on this chart that had more than like 2. That's just because I didn't want to like clutter the chart too bad. Because I don't like doing that. Charts get real whack when you add too many people to them. Oh, I need to turn the music down. I forgot. It had the music up really high for the call. I'm sure it wasn't like too loud anyway. But sometimes I get a bit quieter because I'll be just like, I am just gonna mumble to myself. So I need to turn it down a little bit. Just a little bit. I think that should be a better level for it, I think. It wasn't too bad anyway, but it was literally like identical to my actual speaking audio, so I'm just like, shit! It's too loud! It's too loud. I need to set the notification. There it goes. There we go. Family trees are basically like, for lack of a better word, like, I just like doing family trees a lot. Even though they basically never matter. Like, they're never actually that important. I just like doing them. I like just getting funky with it. That's why I have multiple family trees of my own family. I'm one of those people. Now is the 5th of 7 children born to... How do you even word this shit? Oh my god. This is like the... This is not the first character I've written who has siblings. But for a second, for a brief, terrible second, I thought she might have been. Why are so many of my characters single, like, only childs? Like, what's the deal with that? I don't know. That's confusing. 57 children born to Asien, Amamian, and Olifira Odelia. Oh, well. The 7 children of Asien and Olifira, born in 114. I don't have an adjective, well, like a abbreviation for that. It doesn't really matter. 114, alongside her older twin brother, Quinaris, who exists. Congratulations to Quinaris. Patricide fantasies? I'm pretty sure none of my characters have killed their siblings. I'm pretty sure I don't want to. In fact, I'm 100% confident I don't want to. I like my siblings. You only say that because I keep complaining about my sister calling me. Which is not me personally hating her, it's just the fact that she will not stop calling me at the worst times. And that doesn't even include my other sibling, who I don't complain about on Twitter because he doesn't call me. You see, this is how it works. Basically, if you don't call me, I won't complain. This is how it works. If you don't call, I won't complain. So, you know, it's fine. Exactly. You don't even know. You know nothing. You know nothing. I don't mention my brother because I don't have any beef with my bro. I don't have any beef with her either. I just hate when she calls me at dinner time. Because she always does. Because time zones are dumb. And bad. Time zones bad. Time zones should be deleted. Eat them. Some children. Lausien and Olifira. The issue with Lausien's name is I keep saying it in a way that does not sound French. But I don't know how to fix that, so I'm just leaving him there. Because for some reason the way I say it feels like I'm veering Chinese, and like, he is definitely not that. And I only think of that because that's what the setting is, like, in, partially. So I'm just like, ah, shit. His name's fine. How the fuck do you explain this shit? She, along with all her siblings, was raised on the grounds of Odelia University, an institution founded by her grandmother, Saroel, who exists. Not particularly regularly, no. I don't talk to him that much. He comes over every once in a while. Like, he comes over for dinner. But even then, like, I'm usually, like, in here. Listen, I don't talk to people. I don't go out. I don't talk to people. So I do not talk to him often. But that's not because we're, like, have a bad relationship. I just don't talk to him. I feel like there's a distinction there. It's like, I just don't talk to him. No, we're fine. We're in it. We're good. We chill. We chill. My bro and I are chill. Woo! Okay. Odelia University, an institution founded by her grandmother Saroel. I'm not gonna make articles for basically any of these other characters because that's a lot of effort. But you know, it is what it is. I might make articles for some of them. Like, I might make an article for Tarek and Darcy, but that's because they're Tarek and Darcy, who are actual, like, will appear. Nominally. Nominally, they will be present. So maybe they should have articles, who the fuck knows. And maybe just Cena because I'm just like, Pirate Lady. Hell yeah. I know a about Pirate Lady. What's next? So, I don't know how the fuck to mention that, but... Because that's not really her own history. That's, you know, some other shit, so I'll mention that later. At the university during her youth, specializing in history and astronomy because she is a nerd. Big nerd. Doesn't have to be very detailed there. Hey, vampires! Woo! Let's get an article showcase. Because I'm flailing a little bit. Because I know her history and I don't want to explain it. So here we go. Let's open an article. Let's show an article. The Magic Earth, the alternate history, urban fantasy world. Didn't realize that was up there. That's kind of neat. Oh. Alright. We got it. Vampires, the alternate history, urban fantasy setting. There we go. So, vampires were originally humans cursed with the curse of blood. As time passed, they became almost a separate species, or, as scientists prefer to call them, a subspecies of humans. It was caused by the fact that the curse of blood changes a person on the genetic level, and that changes are inheritable. Right. For the most part, vampires are the same as humans. The only difference in appearance is the existence of long fangs in vampires. Their purpose is to make the consumption of blood easier. Long fangs make it easier to pierce through human or animal skin. I'd possibly combine those two sentences. Like, their purpose is to make the consumption of human blood easier, as long fangs better pierce through human animal skin, maybe. Something like that. They also have small canals, which serve as an additional way to introduce blood to the bloodstream. Vampires can hide their fangs when they don't need them. Ooh, very fancy. Dependency on consuming blood. In order to survive, vampires have to consume the blood of other creatures. It can be human or of any other species. For a long time, it was unknown why they had to do that. Recent studies have shown that a vampire's body produces almost no red blood cells. White blood cells and other blood ingredients are present in their bodies, but it is unknown if they are produced by them or also come from consuming blood. We just need blood to survive. It is for us the same as what food and water is for you. We are not monsters. Vampires explain their need to consume blood. Blood starvation and deficiency. A vampire who doesn't consume blood for a period longer than 3 to 4 months will transform into a monstrous form. Their hands will transform into claws, their head will become bald and deformed, and their fangs will become elongated more than usual. In this form, a vampire is driven solely by the need and desire to feed. They will attack anything or anyone to get blood. If a vampire in this form is denied blood, they will die in a matter of days. Damn. Historical figures. There are many famous vampires in the history of humanity. The first vampire. It is unknown who was the first vampire and when or where they lived. Many legends arose about that person. They are all different but have one thing in common. The first vampire was a product of the curse of blood. Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler, also known as Vlad Dracula, was the... oh, Jesus Christ. The voivoda of Wallachia in the 15th century. He is best known for being an enemy of the Ottoman Empire and his cruelty. It is said that Vlad was dining among impaled corpses of his victims. Damn. Vampires try to live in peace with humans. However, there has always been a schism between vampires. One group believes that humans should be left alone and only the blood of animals should be consumed, while the other group believes that human blood is the best and should be consumed. Currently, the first group is winning the dispute, and most vampires consume animal blood. In most countries, consuming human blood is mostly illegal. The only exception is when a human gives their blood willingly. That's fair. Dear dummy. Aww. Oh, just looks like this. Oh, they live a good time too. Photosensitivity. For a long time, many believed, and some still believe, that vampires are sensitive to sunlight and exposure to it can kill them. However, this isn't true. Vampires are able to be in the sunlight just like humans. The myth comes from the observation that most vampiric attacks take place at night. The real reason behind it is that vampires hunt and feed at night to avoid being seen and caught by humans. Oh, the Curse of Blood article is live? Oh, I don't think... okay, because like I can hover over that and it tells me it's a blood magic spell, which can be used to make a person into a vampire. Fancy. I think that article... I'm assuming that article isn't actually public, though. No, I can just read, like, the excerpt. Which is enough for me, because I was wondering what the Curse of Blood was pretty much the whole time. I can make the assumption. But, yeah. I like... vampires are neat. None of my settings have vampires, and I feel like that's something that I should rectify, but I have no way of doing that at this point. So what I need to do is make that sci fantasy setting and add vampires to it. One day. Vampires. Yeah, I like it. Oh, and since it is, you know, old history, you know, you still get to mention actual historical figures, which is nice. I like vampires. Woo! Yay, vampires. Hell yeah. Whoop. Boom. Alright. And now mosey on back over here and try to figure out how to describe what the hell happens next in this character's life. Shit. Working on multiple research projects under history professor. I'm going to copy his name because I don't want to have to keep writing it down. Fucking dude. Wysophine. Wysophine? He exists. He is a dude. Congratulations to dude. He is actually an important character, but only in her backstory because she punches him in the face. Spoilers, I guess. Spoilers for Niall's the life in 217 when she punches her professor in the face. Oops. Okay. Ediary shenanigans. I'm just gonna put that in there because I feel like she should have more stuff going on in her early life, but I don't know any of it because I am not creative. In 203? 203? I said 217. Why do I keep saying 203? I don't know why. Oh, because she was 103, that's why. Okay, so in 217, she was given her biggest research project yet to detail the very origins of so the idea with the research project that kind of gets her done for treason is that she's researching like the first Sylvian nation or something, because they're in the Sylvian Empire, which is the equivalent of Napoleonic France. It's gone on for a whole lot longer than Napoleonic France, but it's the equivalent thereof. And it was preceded by like a couple decades of kind of like First Republic nonsense where they had no fucking clue what they were doing. And before that, it was basically a bunch of like French monarchies, I believe. I'm about 80% sure that's the history of this country. I probably should, I think I did check, or I'm just basing it off something that has been mentioned to me at some point. That it was described to me as, it's basically just France. Roll with it. Scroll that down. Noble class. Brief period of revolution. It's a military junta now. Yeah. So basically, it used to be just a bunch of kings. And so the idea is that, I guess, she's researching the origins of the Sylvian kingdom? Specifically? Which is, as far as they know, the first Sylvian state. And the reason it's the first they think it's the first Sylvian state is because they believe that, in the preceding years, the Sylvian peoples, the elves, these Pacific elves, were just, like, vibing. As a bunch of, like, Golic tribe kind of shit. And then they united under some king asshole, and now it's the Sylvian kingdom. Or something. That kind of bullshit. Whereas in actuality, the reason the Sylvian Kingdom is not the first Sylvian state, because they literally are refugees from another plane of reality. So I guess just the Sylvian Kingdom, but that's gonna be confusing. At least I'll know what it means. Kingdom that had existed before Nathaniel's revolution. So, early Sylvian states, the intent that you'd find stuff to support the occupations of now-nations. Okay. That makes sense. To detail the histories of the numerous Sylvian states, of the early Sylvian states, which preceded the Sylvian Empire. I don't think she would have assumed it was to do with the occupation shit. They probably didn't tell her that. That's just like the obvious assumption. Her professor probably knows that's what she's doing. Or what they hope she's doing. She's not doing that because she is an innocent, truth-seeking nerd and didn't think that would be how her knowledge would be used. Not that it was used, because she got ratted out by our professor and yeeted. So detail the histories of early Sylvian states, which had preceded the Sylvian Empire. Yeah. Booyah. Under Professor... I'm just going to use his surname from now on, because I do not give a shit about this man. I literally grabbed his surname off one of the elf name generators. I don't care about this man. I'm also not convinced that Theron is a name that can be pronounced in French, but that's whatever. Then she said about traveling... Maybe I'll say 216, because she does a little bit of physical travel. Into various parts of the Empire to find information, and examine the archaeological record. Spelling is hard. I'll fix it. Oh yeah, the professor knew. He was giving her the grunt with, like, you do the hard shit. You do the hard shit, then I'm gonna take most of the credit for it because I'm your, like, adjunct. Is that what the word adjunct means? I don't actually remember. I wouldn't know. I don't do anything. I'm pretty sure that's what an adjunct is. No, it's probably not. You know, he's the supervising... He's the one whose name is on the shit. It'll be the, you know, this is Professor Weissephine's paper done with the help of, like, doctorate holder Niall Odelia, who exists. And then she can become a professor off of that, maybe. Who the fuck knows? She's like 100, okay? Whatever. Good morning, the comm scribe. The backstory is going. it is going. Most of it's stuff I already know. I just need to write it down in a way that's, like, cool. And that will be useful to my DM, who already knows most of this. They are already aware of most of these facts. I'm just putting them all together in one place. Yeah, down with the help if you're lucky. Exactly. Information, exam the article. How do I mention she got engaged during all of this? Do I just throw it in as a aside? Like, oh yeah, and by the way, she got engaged to her girlfriend. How do I mention that? Knows. It has been told to you at various points. These are things that have been mentioned. Some of it has been mentioned. Not all of it has been mentioned. I think at the moment the only thing you remember is the fact that her fiancé is a corsair, which slaps so hard. Write a showcasing story. I refuse. I will not. I will do no such thing. I will do no such thing. I refuse. I will do no such thing. It will not happen. Nope. Determine trace parts of the Empire to find information and examine the archaeological record. How do I mention her fiancé in this? How do I bring her up? Because she would be mentioned in the intermediary shenanigans is the thing. Because Casino would have been mentioned in here. Christina is here. She's mentioned in here along with, like, a bunch of other, like, juvenile bullshit. So she's been established. Kind of. I haven't written it because that would require me to mention shit. And I don't know anything. And so now I'll kiss the hot, secretly a pirate lady, which is very cute. Finish my saying, like, after the engagement, like, yeah, I suppose. It's like, here's the history shit. Also, she got engaged. And now we're going into some bullshit. Words are hard. Words are very hard. Oh, the fucking seal's coming off again. God damn it. My water bottle is very, very mean to me. It's coming off. Alright. I guess it would just be like after getting engaged to Christina. I'm just gonna use full name because I haven't mentioned it before, but I could probably change that in after I retcon her back in. Day on God. Day on God. I mean, met at university. I have no idea. Niall literally proposed to her just like randomly, because if she had tried to be cool about it, she would have panicked. So she literally just did it. Went to continue their families. Niall might not have been. Christina could have been. Unclear. So if so, also unclear, I'm not sure. And then difference in station, yes, but also they're not nobility anymore, so in practice it doesn't matter. Well, it kinda does, but she's of the merchant class. She's at least, like, wealthy, right? She is at least of the wealthy class. She's not just, like, a shit-broke peasant. Christina is wealthy. Nominally. Kind of. It's complicated. She is mostly wealthy. When she doesn't fuck up. Which she did a couple times. Well, yeah. I don't want to go into too much detail about it at this specific point in the article. Because I feel like that's something that would be mentioned maybe in a separate... I don't know. I don't want to dwell on it too much. Because literally what happened is Niall was like, hey, do you want to get married? And Christina's like, yeah, sure. And then they're engaged. And then they deal with all the bullshit later. But I might say, and dealing with their families. Judgments over that decision. We'll just allude to it. We'll allude to the fact that the Rousseaus and the Odelias may have had conflicting ideas about the relationship. We'll just allude to it, because the Odelias... They have Adelie, is the thing. Adelie can continue the family line if it matters. And Adelie is, like, a member of the army. Like, she's the cool she's cool army time. No. Well, I mean, maybe. I don't know. Thing is, I don't think Niall could keep a secret. I don't think Niall could keep a secret. The fact that at this time, she is already, like, at the time that she's getting exiled, she is dealing with, like, 7 things. Like, she's just dealing with a lot at that point, because she has to, she's trying not to tell them she's a warlock, which is illegal. If this is the engagement secret, she's dealing with an engagement secret. She's also dealing with the fact that she has just been arrested for treason, and she's not telling her family that's what happened, because they don't know that, because she was arrested at work, interrogated, and then let go. And she comes home, and they're like, how was work? And she's like, it was good. And then she leaves, and then she doesn't tell them that she's leaving. She hides, like, 6 different things on that, like, one day. She's like, I'm not telling you anything. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Interesting day for her. She's probably actually decent at lying, but she doesn't like to. So she doesn't do it very often. Reference. When she did this, it was just random off the cuff as her proposal to X. Yeah! And you're getting suddenly engaged. Yeah, but let's add the word suddenly. Just suddenly. Even though she and Hestina have known each other for years at that point, it's still like, you're a bit young. You're the equivalent of like 20. Even though you're 103, you're like the equivalent of 20. About, again, collating all her findings thus far. Despite her efforts, some information eluded her. How do we lead into the warlock thing? How do I do that? Because I know why she did it. It's just how to explain why she suddenly formed a pact with a god. In a way, well, not a god, it's a star, but like, you know, shenanigans. Terminology, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. Oop, fucking shit. I already got the notification phone. Shut up. I don't care. My parents. This is a youthful engagement. We'll leave it for a decade or so and they'll brag and she won't marry a merchant. It'll be fine. It probably doesn't help her family's opinion of Christina, because like Christina is a nice lady, right? So they're not opposed to it because Christina's like an asshole. That's not their beef. It's not even that she's a merchant, because if she was good at it, if she was very wealthy, then it would be like, okay, so she's not marrying into status, but she's marrying into wealth. That is something, and considering we are now not nobility, so we're kind of operating in like the educational, like upper classes, wealth is not a bad idea. So marrying a rich merchant, cool. The issue with that is Christina is not actually good at her job. That's why she's a pirate. Because she's good at being a pirate and bad at being a merchant. That's why that happens. Like, that's the whole thing. She's not in financial... She's not broke. She's not destitute. But she's not particularly rolling in cash at the time of the engagement because she's only recently become a corsair and started to turn around her fortunes. And Niall's family are looking at that like, this could be a random bit. This could be a blip. Like a random spike up, and it's all downhill from here. Because everyone still thinks Christina is a legitimate merchant. And that she's just bad at her job. She's not... No, I'm gonna say she's bad at her job. She's not good at being a trader. She's not, like, dog shit, but she's not great. She does not really have the mindset. She inherited this job. She inherited this boat. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's doing her best. She's had, like, 80 years of... Well, she's had, like, 50. Maybe it's racist. She hasn't had that long with this boat. In terms of an elf lifespan. She's had, like, you know, a time with it, but she's not good at it. So she's like, you're squandering the money, and now you're not marrying into wealth, you're marrying into just, like, a random merchant who's shit. So, either you're gonna break up and not marry this merchant, or she's gonna suddenly start earning money and be an actual good merchant, at which case it will be fine. It's a whole thing. I've thought about this now. After making Christina a pirate by accident, I have thought about this, and it's literally that she's bad at her job, and she's good at fighting people. Something which she has not previously taken advantage of. That's probably one of the intermediary shenanigans, is Christina gets into a fight with somebody. Christina just gets into a fight with someone. Foreshadowed the fact that she's good at her job, but not the one she thinks she is. Oh yeah, long engagements would not be weird at all. Like, that makes complete sense given that they live for 500 years and they turn into adults when they're 100. Which is the equivalent of like 20. So if you generalize and say that most elves are married when they're around like 30, maybe-ish, and that's 50 years from when Niall proposes to when it's like, okay, if you're married by this age, that's normal. So there's like 50 years for her to be engaged to Christina if they want to do it like the long haul. It is just weird that they got engaged so young. That said, Christina's like 19 years older, so maybe it's less weird for her. Her family probably doesn't give a shit. Because they're looking at it the other way and going, the Odelias are filthy rich. This is a good thing. Do it. Marry this lady. Just maybe take your time a little bit. You don't know her that well. It's like, yes, I do. I've been dating her for like 60 years. Like, shut up. You don't know me. You haven't lived with her yet because you live separately. Because one of you lives in fucking Toulouse and the other one lives in like Calais or some shit. That is not where they live. I don't even know where Calais is. I'm not gonna look it up. I'm not gonna look it up. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't live in either of those places. Just the city names I thought of. And I'm like, I think Calais is coastal. Maybe. Unclear. Okay, to fire up at some information eluded her. And her inability to move forward. Frustrated. Weisephine. I'm just gonna keep calling him Weisephine now. Which, to be fair, Weisephine sounds cooler than Jean Therin. Just because it sounds neat. I like how Weisephine sounds. I'm also assuming it's Wisafine and not like Wisafine. Wisafine? Who knows? Who knows? If I should miss him. In desperation, they'll sought the help of a higher power, which ends up being a star, which I have picked a star because I was given that one of the other player characters is a cleric for a Greek / a Greco-Roman god. I felt pretty confident picking a real-life existing star as her star. I think there was between 2 different stars, and I don't know where I've written that down. It was between 2 different stars. I'm getting notifications from the folks. Oh, it's 40k. I don't care. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? My notes are a mess. Please help. Yeah, it was either Belinos or Alcor. Belinos because it's named after a Gallic sun god? Question mark? And it's a bright star. And the idea with Belinos is that it's like, because as a celestial warlock in terms of mechanics, she uses a lot of radiant damage. Having a very bright star that's named after a sun god makes sense. Or it's Alcor, which is a star in the Big Dipper. Technically, except you can't see it because over the years it's moved, and so it's underneath another star basically. Like from, if you look at the Big Dipper, you only see 6 stars. Alcor is number 7, and it's basically in the same location as another one. And so the idea there is that, well, it's like a forgotten star because everyone, like, you know, you can't see it. You forget it's there because you can't see it with the naked eye. You have to like really telescope that bitch. And that one made sense because she's finding a bunch of forgotten information, I guess. So I think I ended up going with Alcor for it because I feel like forgotten makes more sense given that she's a knowledge hoe. She loves knowledge. She loves learning shit. So picking the star that had a stronger yet still nebulous connection with knowledge made sense to me. If you had any other ideas, Day, feel free to mention them, because it's not like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter that badly. I don't think in the long run what her star is, because it mostly just matters as to like how she relates to it, which is that she doesn't talk to it very often, because things happened. Every time she talks to that star, shit goes wrong. Don't do it. Yeah, the Forgotten Star. So I figured that worked. Because I literally pulled up a list of, like, all the stars that have names, like, proper names, because most of them are just, like, you know, like, star X26 3B. Like, they're all just that kind of bullshit. And some of them have actual names. And I'm like, bitchin'. And so I went through a list of them. I was like, which one of these are French? There's, like, 2 of them that are French. Which one of them have relevant meanings? This one. Alright, sure. I had like 6 of them up at one point. Because I wanted to keep it like French. Okay. Because not all of them are named with European languages. Some of them are named with like Arabic or Chinese. And I was like, I probably shouldn't pick a star that has a Chinese name because that seems weird given the setting. So I'm like, Alcor means something, and there it is. I don't actually know what the word Alcor means. I didn't absorb that information. I don't think. Oh, it's originally Arabic for the forgotten or neglected one. Fuck yeah. That works. You have 1/3 mostly colored. Hell yeah. I'm hype as fuck to see those boys. I'm hype as hell to see them. And I'm also hyped to Eldritch Blast their faces in. I'm very excited to squander all that world building by just, like, attacking them. Niall won't do that. That's not my problem. Niall will not be the one to fire unless one of them hits somebody. Niall's not starting this fight, but she might finish it, assuming she doesn't get knocked out again. Please, God. Please, God. No. Suddenly had a mechanical thought, that doesn't make sense. Alcor. Alcor. The Forgotten Star. In the hopes... God, me. One of them is gonna try and fire a gun at somebody, and Niall's gonna flip her shit again. Then she might. We'll see what happens. I know none of them have guns. What's the point? Hit, go. Niall just gets brained. I'm projecting off of the other campaign, where my... When that arena campaign happens, my cleric is getting shit canned immediately. It's gonna be great. It is gonna be glorious. And if she doesn't get shit canned, she's gonna set people on fire. Why do all my characters have fire abilities? I'm realizing that now, and that concerns me. That's concerning a little bit. I'm a little concerned. Am I a pyromaniac? I have concerns now. Oh dear. Oops. Oh well. It's fine. Might have the information she needed. Tie the research together. Hi, Alberto Foxy. Do you some questions kindly? Sure. You can ask questions. If they're not, like, you know, if they're things that I can answer, and they're not rude, then yeah, certainly. Questions can be answered. Hopefully. Hopefully I have answers. I'm not particularly clever, so who knows. Ask away. Where's my head information? Need to tie the rest together. Read Melkor's help. She learned the true origins of the Sylvians. That rather than being native to the native to Yeroveda, they were refugees from a shattered plane of reality. How many words per minute can I type? Oh, I haven't tested that in ages. How what's like a benchmark? Like, how fast do most people type? Because I can type decently quick if I know what I'm typing. If I know what I want to type, I can type decently quick, but I can't spell very well. So, it's a nice, like, intellectual exercise to know how far, like, how many words you can type in a minute. I know I've been able, did I write it down? I kind of did. Hold on. Let me pull up something. Because I have my, I'll do math. I can do math. Because when we did the Game of Tomes thing in NaNoWriMo, I should have screenshots of it. Of my, times that I did. Most of them aren't great. What's the highest one here? The highest one here is 291, so 291 divided by 10. About 30 words in a minute? Maybe? Oh, sometimes I get better. Sometimes I do closer to 40 words in a minute. If I'm really, really going. Those two look nearly identical. That's really weird, actually. Oh, I wrote 45 words per minute during one of them. Apparently I really went for it. Those were summaries that I did for an hour. Yeah, so, like, I can, if I know exactly what I'm writing, I can get about 40. Maybe a little bit more than 40, but probably closer to, like, 10. I type individual words quickly, but the sentence as a whole does not come together. I'm not very good at writing, I'll be honest. God, my hair's in my face. Where am I? Hold on. They're hidden somewhere. Finding my bobby pins. I need them. I need them for my fringe, which is everywhere. That'll do it. I know I've done it at least once, but that was probably years ago. And I think I was better at typing ages ago. Like, I used to be able to touch type, and I can't really do that anymore. In part because this keyboard doesn't really tell me anymore. I don't know, like it doesn't, like in primary school I had a keyboard that was like, had like a lot of tactility to it where I could tell exactly where I was, but not so much with this keyboard. I think because it's, because it has a numpad, the keys are smaller, so it doesn't feel comfortable to try and touch type with this keyboard. Yeah, it matters for like jobs where you need to write a lot quickly. But if I'm, if you're just like chilling, it's fun to know in the same way that like knowing your like MBTI and stuff is fun. But I never remember any of that stuff. I thought pronouns were already in the character template. Is that new? Yes! Oh, I like that change. I appreciate that change. Because I've been using them under a different thing. Yeah. Oh, they won't show up yet. Refresh. Refresh it. Refresh it and I can see it. Where is it? Where have you hidden it? It says, I need to read it again. Under naming. Honorific title, pronouns. Nice. I like that. Where does that show up? Where does that show up? Hold on, let me just put in her name real quick. I had it up there and then I removed it. There we go. Okay. Let's just put her full name up there. I want to see it. I want to see where it goes. Oh, that's neat. Yeah, I like that. Because I think for most of my characters, I've been putting their pronouns under their gender, which I think is under mental. Yeah, I've been using the gender identity field and I've been putting their gender and their pronouns. Because I didn't want to use the biological sex field because I was like, So I've just been using the gender identity tab for that. That's actually really helpful because that means I can just chuck it up the top for a bunch of my characters. I need to remember that. Let's pull up the notes thing and let's put it in the new notes. I have that. Yeah, I think I prefer that. I understand why it was in generic. I think this is a discussion that has been had previously. But because like the reason it's under generic is because it's, some of this like the basic quote unquote information that you have for a character, like, what is their species, when were they born, how old are they, what do they look like, what gender are they, except it's like biological sex, but whatever. So it made sense that it was there. I feel like people are gonna now be asking, like new people are gonna ask, so where's the gender go? And we're gonna be like, gender identity is under mental and physical sex is under physical. That's gonna be a question that gets asked. But I think I like it better the way it is now. Not that I ever use the biosex tab, because I'm just like, It's nice to have. It's useful for some people, definitely. Okay. Alright, that rather than being native to Yedoveta, they were refugees from a shattered plane of reality. That's the Feywild, I think. Sure. She presented... After first finding some sources to back up this theory, she presented her findings to Josephine. And even though it was not directly related to her research, she believed it was important. Here goes. Desperation, higher power in 217. So that the year has changed now. Where would I put the year on that? Because it's not 216 anymore. Because she's been working on the project for a year or two. Or like, well, a year and a bit. In 217. Let's go with that. And now here's where she beats up an old man. This is like her one thing that she did. Like the one thing. Sometimes you gotta just beat up a dude who rats you out to the authorities. After he accepted her findings. How do I explain what happens there? Because basically, the order of events here is she tells him the thing, he tells the government, she gets arrested, she gets released, because they're pretty sure she's not dangerous, she's just a fool. So they're like, okay, we've interrogated you for a little bit, you're probably not immediately dangerous, you can go home, we will speak again. She leaves, she goes home, she grabs her shit, she climbs out a window, she leaves, and then on her way out of the country, she takes a detour to his house and punches him in the face. Because she figured out it was him. And I was like, how the hell do you explain that? Eats him up. She leaves. Right. If binary characters use bio-sex, generated only for non-binary, which is a minority among characters I create. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Like, I can understand why people would use it. I'm not saying that obviously you can't use the biological sex, like, tab. Like, you definitely can. It is useful. I just prefer to use gender identity because, well, I mean, I'm non-binary. It is just kind of like that. For me. I prefer to just have everyone treated the same-ish, which I'm now not sure if how I've listed one of my characters who I know is binary trans. I don't know how I listed him. I don't think I mentioned he was trans. I probably should actually do that. Where is he? Where's my boy? Where's my boy? Where's my sweet boy? How did I list my boy? Yeah, okay. I might need to edit him, but I probably need to edit his article in general. No, I edited his article. His article has actually been recent. Oh, that's a spoiler. I probably should actually articulate the fact that he's trans. I didn't actually mention that. Oops. Because I was just like, I need to do that. It'll happen eventually. But usually I use gender identity because I just think it's easier for me. But it's not like that's a bad thing. It's a good thing to have. It can be very useful. I just don't use it. Gender identity card is not straight. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, how do I... So she's told him the findings. She's presented them to him. And then it's not a long delay. Like, she tells him the thing, and then, like, either the next day or the day after, she gets arrested. Like, it's a very quick turnaround, because she is directly violating Imperial doctrine. So it's like, oh shit. And also, Josephine is a coward. So, you know, he doesn't want to sit on it in case people think that he's, like, responsible for her actions and it's his ideas. Like, no. Like, she hands in, like, a couple pages of her notes, and he takes them to the government and is like, this is not my shit. I didn't do this. Arrest my people. That's what happens. Where's this two identities? Bisex, gender identity. Yeah, that makes sense. I think it would mostly, like, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes one or both of the, well, at least, like, sometimes they're not. Sometimes only one of those is relevant, I guess. Like, like, for instance, with some people, or some characters, knowing their gender identity isn't relevant because it's the same as their biological sex. So you can say they are female, and, you know, so it follows. But if they're trans or non-binary, their biosex may not be relevant to their character, because for them, the important part is the gender identity. So that you would only include gender identity, you wouldn't include biosex. You still can. Some characters it would be relevant, but not everybody, I guess. Gender dice? I don't know what gender dice are. I haven't seen that on Karen Fox's channel. I think because I don't know when they stream. It may be relevant to the setting, yeah. If it's relevant to the setting and the character, then you include it. If it's not relevant to the setting and isn't relevant to the character, then there's no point, right? Then you just wouldn't mention it. Or you just don't want to. You know, there's like the 3 pillars of like setting, character, and creator opinions, and you work with whatever. So even though in my setting it probably, biological sex probably would be relevant, as a creator I personally don't want to like put a focus on it, so I don't. But that's me. You know? I'm just like, hey, it's fine. Doesn't matter. I am in charge here. I'm the master of my own setting. I can do what I want. But yeah, what are gender dice? I feel like I can kind of imagine what gender dice are, but I haven't seen them. Because I don't think Karen streams at a time that I can get to, or I just have missed their streams a bunch. Or their videos, or whatever. Finding some people just is it? Right, so you would literally just roll a dice. Like, if you roll a 1 on your d6, it's a woman, a cis woman. If it's a 2, it's a cis man. If it's a 3, it's a trans woman. And so on. Is that the idea? Like, you just roll a dice and it, like, whichever number you get tells you what gender a random character is? Because that's kind of neat. That can be pretty useful. Because I'm pretty sure if I tallied up all the characters in my setting, there is an overwhelming feminine and non-binary, probably just, actually no, specifically just feminine majority. And then it probably then goes dudes and then non-binary, but non-binary, it's a significant chunk of them. So I'm just like, huh. I need to fix that at some point. Like, everyone in Niall's life who matters is, most of them are women. And I'm like, oops. Symbols on his, basically, yeah. That makes sense. It never hurts. Well, it doesn't usually hurt to just, like, let randomness choose some things that aren't, like, super important. Like, oh, okay, what's the gender of this barkeep? Doesn't really matter, I'll roll for it. I think that stuff's neat. Or rolling for random stuff. I love rolling for stuff. I need to use my dice for something. All my... Five dice sets? I think there's 5 in here. Yeah. It's straight man, yeah. Every setting's gonna have a different balance. And that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun when there's that difference between settings. Series presented her findings to Josephine, as even though it wasn't directly related to her research, she believed it was important. 2 days later... Niall was arrested while at the university. He's straight man, straight cis man. Both of them would be, well, I think both would be correct. I think most of the time I hear it as cis straight. Usually gender comes before sexuality. Oh, well, oh, actually. I think it just depends. Both of them work fine. Both of them work completely fine. Because now I'm thinking, I'm like, gay trans man tends to be like, it's not usually trans gay man. It's gay trans man. So I guess it would be straight cis man. But cis straight man is not inherently wrong. Because it's kind of hard to do, like, because, like, there is an adjectival order in English. Like, you can't say red big ball. You say big red ball. Cis and straight are in the same category of words, so I don't know which order they go in. Okay. I think? Someone else would understand this. I don't know grammar. You can't say the red big bus. You gotta say the big red bus. I know that. So is it cis straight man or straight cis man? I'm like, I don't know. I think it's straight cis. Because I guess, like... Ooh. God, I don't know. I think they both go in... They're both equally correct. Language is hard. Language is very, very hard. Because I can think of reasons why both would be the one I'd choose in context. So I'm just like, ah, shit. Well, at the university. What? Her university's library. By imperial officers, we'll say. That could be anything. It doesn't necessarily mean military. It could just be officials. Oh, officials. Imperial officials. That's the word I wanted. I didn't want officers, I wanted officials. He was arrested while at the university's library. I should now say... He was arrested by imperial officials while at our university's library. How much detail do I need to go in for this? Because the most important part of this thing is that she is accused of treason, and then she punches a guy and leaves. These are the important details of her backstory. This is like the critical moment where shit gets real whack. Her entire life has changed forever because she told her professor a thing. That's rough. After being interrogated... Oh, I spelled it correctly this time. I spelled it wrong last time. How the hell did I spell it last time? Entero. Oh, God. Intero. Ugh. Double R. Interrogated for a few hours on suspicions of treasonous... Is it behavior to say a thing? It's not sedition. I guess it is sedition. Kind of. Well, they can't really charge her with sedition. Because she's not... If she's saying, hey, Sylvians aren't native to Yaravera, that's not sedition. That's just a fact. It's not... But I guess they would see it as sedition, because if she says that, then that means all of their wars are illegitimate, and that might incite people to then do a thing. So I guess they would just say some shit. Yeah, I had the definition of sedition up, and I was like, I guess technically they might go for that. Treasonous writings is probably the word that they would use. Like, that would be the initial thing, and they're interrogating her to figure out if she's doing anything other than that. And of course, they release her after interrogating her because they're like, okay, so we need to do more research, and you aren't dangerous. We think you aren't dangerous, because she's not. She's a nerd. But when she leaves, she's sitting there like, being a warlock is illegal in this country, and I'm one of those, so I need to leave. Because treasonous writings is bad enough, but being a warlock is straight up treason. So it's just like, oh no. Because there has to be a reason that she knows she was going to be exiled, like she has the pre-warning. That's why this setup is kind of silly. In the terms of like the day happenings, because she has to have the ability to leave. And I don't think she would leave violently. In terms of like custody. Undermining the state. Possibly if they were seeing if you went anyone. Right, like if she'd spread that information around. And she... Why is there a siren at this time of night? It was only on for like a second, but it was there. I heard it. I'm positive I heard that. I don't think it came through on the microphone. God damn it. But yeah, I guess that is like they're seeing if she's shared anything. She's like, where have you been in the last couple days? Like, I have been in the library, at my house, and at my professor's house. Okay, so in the Sylvian Empire, it's basically Bonapartist France, right? It's the French Empire. And the idea is that you are supposed to be loyal to the Empire. You are meant to be loyal to the Empire and to its emperor. By definition, a warlock is not only loyal to the Empire, because a warlock has a patron who oftentimes what the patron tells you to do, like, you know, like, you are supposed to follow your patron's guidance. And, you know, that means you're not necessarily loyal to the Emperor. And because Niall's patron is not one of the approved gods, because it's literally a star that people forget exists, that's not gonna go great. Because not only is it not an approved god, she did not have permission. She did not have permission to do that. It's not as big of an issue if she was, say, a priest or a paladin, because those go through organizations which already have the approval of the government. But because warlocks are like, you do this shit of your own accord, like, you know, you're doing a treason a little bit. You're not being loyal to your country. And that means you are dangerous. And they don't know she's a warlock because she doesn't mention it and she doesn't do anything weird, but she's pretty sure they'll figure it out. She's like, I have to leave. Writing is bad. They'll put me in prison for writing. If they find I'm a warlock, I'm gonna get executed. She's having a time of spreading treasonous writings. She was released under the proviso? Is the word proviso? I think the word is, like, the full word is provision, but is it proviso? Yeah, proviso. Ow, eyeballs. Eyeballs. Yeah, quite possibly she might have had to get that extra bit of prodding, like, you need to leave now. At home immediately. Which she did. Because I feel like on some level she also knew that it's like, I don't think this is going to go well. Because, like, she formed the pact and that was already a bad idea. Like, that was not a good idea. But she was confident that she could handle it because she saw it as still being loyal to the Emperor because she's doing this for the Emperor, right? Like, this research project is funded by some manner of the Imperial government as it, like, flows down through bureaucracy. She's doing it to, like, she thinks knowledge is the thing that people need and it benefits the Empire overall. So she talks herself into thinking that the pact, even though it is illegal, is ultimately a good thing. And then when she gets arrested for saying nothing except the truth, she's like, oh, the Empire is ruder than I thought they were. And so by the time she makes it back to her house, she's already thinking in her head, I probably need to leave. And so all it would take would be a little nudge from her patron going, you need to fucking leave. And she'd be like, yeah, I gotta get out of here. And she's out. She's gone. She has yeeted, and then she takes a detour to punch a guy in the face. Because she will do that. And she does. She does do it. She did. However, only a few hours after returning home, she left with as many of her things as she could quietly carry. Because I guess her assumption here is that they didn't follow her home, which either they didn't, which seems like a bad idea. You probably should have followed her home. Or B, because she knows her way around the academy, she can just get the fuck out of there. It's basically her one active, like, because, like, the reason I'm saying that she's very active in her attacking of her professor is it's the same reason she was so proactive in, like, attacking the guy who tried to throw Talia off a cliff. She gets really spiteful about being betrayed. Like, she's mostly pretty chill, I think. Like, she's mostly pretty chill, fairly joyous, like, a fairly nice person. But if you betray her, she will neck you. The only reason she doesn't, like, maim this man is because she had, like, 4 hours of build-up. She had time to cool down. And so when she was, like, she gets to, like, an intersection in some other, like out near, like, the edge of the city or something, where she's like, wait, she's like, heading to, like, the taxi rank, basically. and she's walking down the street, and she realizes that she is walking past where her professor lives, and she's like, I am going to beat this man up, and she takes a detour. And she just does it. And then she comes back and she gets on a horse and she's out. She just goes. Maybe it's not maybe she just has a horse. Because that also works. She can just ride up to his house. She probably owns a horse. She would own a horse. She literally takes her horse. She's riding through the city and she's like, I am passing my professor's house. I'm going to stop. But she's thought about it for like 4 hours at this point. Which is why she's not violent. Well, she's not like... Well, she is violent. But she's not like full on about it. That's the reasoning. Because if for example, like, I've thought about this. I have thought about this. If, when she was being arrested, Josephine had been there, and it was obvious in the moment that he had orchestrated her arrest for treason, she would have attacked him. Like, she would have had a minute to process the fact that this professor, who she's been working under for decades at this point, and who she trusts, has ratted her out to the authorities for something that she didn't do at that point. She doesn't think she's done anything. She would have just Eldritch blasted his fucking face. And she would have been killed. But she would have done it. Because she would have just gotten pissed. Students always know hidden ways to sneak up, especially people who have gears to kiss. Exactly. She knows how to leave. She knows how to sneak out. And these Imperial officials don't know shit. It's great. And snuck off the campus. Grounds. Well, in that case, if she's sneaking off, she doesn't have a horse. So she does have to take a taxi. She has to hire someone to drive her, to ride her to a coastal city from there. Which means she's walking. She's walking a bit. Because that makes sense. Because you can't really quietly sneak off with a horse. She could steal his horse. She could steal his horse. She might steal his horse. Because he doesn't live on campus. I have to go back to conference meeting I should listen to. Bye. See you, Kashtan. Thank you for dropping by. And thank you for sharing your fun vampire article. She might steal his horse. Because if he doesn't live on campus, you want to be able to get to campus fairly quickly. So she is walking. She's walking towards where she thinks she can hire a horse. Or hire somebody to drive her. And then she realizes he's over there. And then she goes to do it to as spite. And then as she's leaving his house after having, punched him in the face and stuff, she realizes he has a horse. And she steals it. It wasn't really premeditated. Like, there's points where she makes decisions, but she's not thinking it through. She's doing everything basically as the moment hits. So she's like, I'm gonna leave the country. Then I'm gonna punch my professor in the face. I'm gonna steal his horse. It is a step-by-step process. She did not go into it with the idea of stealing his horse. But she has his horse. And then she leaves it at the port city and gets the hell out. She gets the hell out of there. She does not take that horse. She does not keep the horse. Because at that point her conscience is hit. Because she's had time to think about it now. It's been like 2 hours. She's like, oh shit, I just beat up a man and stole his horse. I'm a horrible person. She does not keep the horse. She does not keep his horse. On her... As she was leaving... City! I'll use the city. She took a detour to Professor Weiss. Damn it. Why'd I copy that? Keep his name in the copy. Damn. Professor Weissophine's house. And, I mean, it is, does she beat him up? She did just beat him up. Like, that's just it. Like, I say it as a jokey way, because the way that I'm speaking, like, verbally is not... It doesn't carry the same weight as writing it down. but, like, she did just beat him up. And he is an older dude. Like, he was originally going to be, like, her co-worker, like, of a similar age, and then Professor made more sense. He's, like, 200 years older than her. He's, like, 350. That makes him the equivalent of, like, a 60-year-old man. Or something. She just beats up a 60-year-old dude and steals his horse. It's like, shit, alright. Sounds worse when you word it like that. When you put it down in text, it sounds like you're an asshole. But this is the only time you did it. So, and you are remorseful. You can't do anything about it. But you do at least feel guilty afterwards. It took you a couple of years to get to that point, but you got there. Yes. Yeah, don't piss off Niall. Exactly. Do not piss her off. Specifically, do not betray her or her friends. Like, that's her thing. Do not lie to her face. Just don't do it. Just don't piss her off. Because then she'll get angry. And then she'll just start, like, attacking you. And again, the only reason Josephine is not dead or maimed is that she had 4 hours to cool down. Like, that's it. That's the thing. Like, because, like, when, fucking douchebag Monster Man tried to throw Talia off, Niall literally immediately set him on fire. Like, she didn't even, like, I paused as a player, like, should I save that spell slot or not? And then I went, no, fuck it. And then she set him on fire. She doesn't hesitate, bitch. Basically. Basically, Niall is that one kid from that meme. I saw you hanging out with Caitlin yesterday. Rebecca, it's how much I won't hesitate, bitch. Like, that's it. She's just that kid. That's what she's doing. In this context, hanging out with Rebecca is betraying her friendship. Do not betray Niall. She will not hesitate. It's great. Drama. It's the only thing I have to work on. It's what I have to work with. I have this character trait, I have to work with it. Strategic Josephine's house, and, beat him up and stole his horse. Horse. And I'm gonna say, took you to Josephine's house, attacked him, and stole his horse. I will leave it fairly vague as to what attacking means, but she did not kill him. He is not dead. If he is dead, she did not do it. Because I did have that thought. Not that she killed him. Because I was like, she would have done it if she hadn't had the basically cooldown period. But she did, so she wasn't gonna kill him. That doesn't rule out Christina doing something. But I don't know if she would have either. So if he's dead, it's not Niall's fault. It might just be his health. Or Christina killed him. It kind of depends. There are many options, and the important thing is that Niall doesn't know about any of it. Niall would not know if he was dead or not. She has no way of finding out that information. She's like, yes, she's living with a lady who can, like, literally ask somebody. She'll send a letter and she'll be like, hey, cousin, how's things at the university? And then, you know, Niall's mom goes, yeah, one of my professors got fucking murdered. And it's like, oh, shit. It's like, yeah, you can ask, but you probably shouldn't. And she wouldn't ask anyway. She would not have asked that question anyway. So, basically, she has no idea what happened to Josephine after she left. His horse. Who's this? She was able to quickly ride to Port City and selling the horse to pay for a fare, to pay for a ticket, to pay to board a ship bound for Belverand. Oh, no, like no, okay, so Niall is not the one sending the letters. She hasn't sent any letters because she thinks that if she does, she'll get them in trouble. If she did, that probably would actually get them in trouble because it'd make them look like they were in contact with her, like they were like collaborating. So she does not write letters to them. However, when she leaves the country, she goes to stay with her mom's cousin. Right? And her mother's cousin is not an exile. She did leave the country. She used to live in the Sylvian Empire and then she moved during the revolution years. But she is not an exile. This is Eloise. So Eloise could and possibly does keep contact with Odifira being Niall's mom. Because they're cousins. Why not? And so, theoretically, Niall can keep tabs on what's happening with her family through Eloise talking to her mother via letter. Niall generally doesn't keep up because it'll make her sad. And also because if she worries that if she goes to Eloise and is like, hey, can you ask mom how things are, like, ask mom this for me, like a X question. If X question is too weirdly specific, like for instance, if Niall got Eloise to ask after, like, how's Christina doing? Eloise should not know who Christina is, right? So if Eloise asked how Christina was doing, Odifira would realize basically immediately that Niall is with Eloise, and she would stop contacting her entirely. And so Niall is not taking advantage of this fact. Yeah, the stuff with Eloise and stuff is fairly new. Because I figured that considering I feel like Niall needed somewhere to go, and because like that's the whole other branch of the family tree that I sent you. Because there's this chunk here, which is her immediate family. And then there's these two characters here who I have color-coded as being important people. And that's because when Niall leaves the Sylvian Empire, she goes to stay with Eloise because she has met Eloise at least once, knows she lives in Welverand, and is like, I can go and like stay with her for a bit. To just like figure out where I'm going. And then she stays there for a couple of years. And now she's just a Welverander citizen, I guess. So that's the idea, is that she goes and stays with her mom's cousin because she knows her vaguely. And that's why Eloise is important. That was a recentish change, because I figured she probably needed some support network. Because if Niall had arrived in Welverand with no support network, I don't know what would have happened. Yeah. Does Eloise have personality? Great question. I don't know. Which is to say, no. Not yet. A bohemian. I'm gonna need to immediately check what that actually means. Because the issue is that when I think of bohemian, I literally think of either Bohemian Rhapsody or Bohemia, the country. Oh, like a hippie. Yeah, fuck yeah, she can be a hippie. Sure. She can do that. That kind of vibes. Doesn't make a huge difference to me. I'll put that in the list. She's down here somewhere. There she is. Hippie-esque. We'll just chuck it as that. Because that kind of makes sense. Because like, literally all I wrote was kindly. Which, that doesn't tell you a whole lot. Because she marries a seamstress. Cause, like, what she did is that she and her mom left during the revolution because her dad got executed. Long story. And they left for Welverand, and then she's just been chilling the whole time. Oh, she can run an art gallery. That kind of slaps. Yeah! She can have an art gallery. There's at least one other artist in here. Yeah! Hell yeah. This vibes. No, the clothes are from her. The clothes are Niall's lost tie to her homeland. They're not from Eloisa. Some of her other clothes might be, but her specific outfit is not. Her specific outfit is definitely Sylvian, and it is from her home. She brought it with her. Because that's already canon. Oh, other than that, yeah. Her other clothes probably are from Eloisa. Like, Eloisa just made her clothes. Because Niall did not come with much. Niall came with money, the clothes she's wearing, and like a couple of books and shit. She didn't come with a whole lot. She came with like some bread. She was not able to carry a whole lot with her when she left. Which is why the coat and the hat are important to her. They mean things. Does it immediately incorporate Niall as part of her art practice? Yeah. Hell yeah, that works. I can definitely work with that. Because I can give her some character, because none of her family are particularly well fleshed out, because, you know, I didn't get around to it. I was focusing on my 2 playable characters. That being Niall and then Florian from the Witcher campaign, who, oh shit, I need to write his backstory at some point. So she sells the horse to pay to board a ship bound for Welverand because they want money. They're like, why should we let you on this boat that's leaving in an hour? It's like, I'll pay you. And so she does. Once there, she sought refuge with her mother's cousin, Eloise de Vale. And stayed with her for a number of years. Yeah. And then it goes into, from there, once she arrives in Welverand and stays with Eloisa, she ends up joining the Navigators Guild through Eloise's son, Vincent, and granddaughter, Elle, because they're both merchants. Is the idea. I don't know why they're merchants, but they are merchants. Like, that's a thing that they are doing. Because like, you have an artist and a seamstress. That's Susie. I'm assuming it's pronounced Susie. Susie de Vale. And then Vincent basically created an entire merchant shit from his own, because he didn't want to be an artist. He didn't have an artistic soul. Boy ain't feeling shit. Boy ain't feeling no shit in the art. He wants to make that cash money. The man's a capitalist. And so he basically creates an entire, like, merchant business on his own. And then it's like, yep, And so his daughter does too. And that's a whole thing they do. And so the 2 of them get Niall into the guild. And then Vincent dies of, like, you know, just shenanigans. If it makes sense, I'm picturing kind of like Aphrodite in Hades, and that she's always calling people dear, and the sort of person to say, oh yes, that's perfect for you, it must be meant to be. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I like that pic. I like that idea of her. That seems pretty neat. That seems fitting to me. He's dead. She's not dead. She has ships. So the 2 of them get her in. I'm not gonna name them in the body, but they are in the bottom. They're in the family list, because I've mentioned Eloisa, and then Vincent and Alicia are there. Because they are important to her. Because I get her in. It's only half paying into what you're doing. Exactly. So, you know, like, Niall arrives, and then she goes into, like, a little depressive funk for, like, 2 years, and Eloisa does not notice. You know? She has no fucking idea. She's just vibing. And, you know, it helps. It kind of helps. A little bit. That's why Vincent's more important. Rip our boy. Rip our man. Rip our dude. Okay, there was a number of years. Through Eloisa's son and granddaughter, who were both merchants. Now, actually, no, I'll say for a few years Now joined the Welverend Navigators Guild on the recommendation of Eloise's merchant son and granddaughter. Merchants. Yeah, Eloise, have you tried this new tea? It does wonders for me. Exactly. She's trying to give, like, Niall herbal remedies, and Niall's like, you know what? Sure. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? Constipation, basically, and that's doable. That's dealable. So that, like, sure, I'll drink your tea. And that's Niall's well-earned experience. We love being in Dutch, Portuguese, Vienna. It's a good time. Oh, that's not the right amount of spacing. Through that guild. Stood in the actually, because I don't want to go into too much detail about the guild because it doesn't really matter. Through that guild. Actually, I'll go. So, in what year is it? I wrote down what year it is. What year is it? Ho, what year is it? Ho, you wrote it down. Oh, you wrote it down. Where'd you put it? You didn't write it down properly. You son of a gun. Where'd you put it? I know where it is. I wrote it down. I wrote it down. I did math. 236. Look there. In 236, through her guild connections, she was brought aboard the Pendergast to act as its navigator on the upcoming Jade. I wrote it down. I wrote it down. I wrote it down. I called it the Jade Sea Trade Expedition, which that's probably not what it's called, but that's fine. Full stop. Winky face. And that's where that ends. And there you go. Yeah, intermediary shenanigans. Christina is there. Excellent. That's a backstory, baby! It doesn't talk about a whole lot for a while, and then a lot of shit happens at once. Okay, so which of these notes can I delete? I can delete this note. I'll say, in check CK2 map. Lol. I didn't mention the nobility thing, but I'll mention that at some point, so I'll keep it like that bit. Student history, yep. Yep, 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 yep. Boom. Alright. Those notes are done. And then it's the family, where I've listed all of her important relations with people. And I've got the family section, where I've got pretty much all of her living direct relatives, people that she would know. And then the cousin chunk, hippie ass big and art. And that's when Merchant Rip My Dude. L exists. And then there's the other people. And then, like, these two are gonna be a pain in the ass, because I don't totally know how they connect to any of this. I don't know how much detail I'm supposed to go into for my retainers, but they exist. Because I'm looking at it going, how the because, like, I think, like, the thing with the retainers, right, is she couldn't bring anyone that she knew. Because arguably, if she was, like, if her life had gone perfectly, she would have basically, her retainers would have been her wife, and probably somebody else from the Sylvian Empire. She would have just brought people she knew. She would have brought, like, Christina, and she would have brought, like, Elle or something. Like, she would have brought people she knew, but obviously Elle didn't want to go, and Vincent's dead, and Christina is, you know, redistributing wealth. So instead her retainers are two people that she could not have met until she got on the boat. It doesn't help that I don't know what the rogue's role on the boat is. I didn't think of that too strongly when I was making it. Like with him, I was like, hey, someone on the boat, and then I have to try and connect him back. I'm like, how the fuck do you connect to this? Hey, damn stretch. Just popping in briefly till Bob goes live. Not long got up until 6 a.m. watching The Mandalorian, all 16 episodes in one night. God damn, that's a hell of a marathon. I'm sure it was pretty enjoyable though. Damn. God, marathons are fun. I should actually do things. Movies. I still have Netflix. I can just watch. God damn it. Oh, jeez. You need to say I like that show. Yeah, you must have if you watched the entire thing in one sitting. If you didn't like it, surely at some point you would have bounced off, but nope, 6 a.m. That's the way to do it. It's like the, oh shit, it's like the one more chapter. It's like, I'm just gonna read one more chapter of this book before I go to bed, and now it's 6 in the morning and the book is done. Oh. It's great when that happens. God, I missed that. I need to do that more often. I do not know how this man connects. Oh, no, I kind of know how he connects, because I know what his job is. I don't know how she connects to any of this. She's an owl because I thought it would be cool, but I'm like, what the hell are you doing? What is your job? What is your job on this boat? I don't know. Boat people. I'm gonna assume that Tarek met her. I met either in the guild or aboard the Pendergast, because like Navi plus helm equals we go the right direction. It was very gripping. A mate gave me access to a Disney Plus account yesterday so you could watch it. Don't think he meant all at once though. He quite possibly didn't, but hey, you know, you did it. You did. He went, you can watch the show, and I went. You went, yep, I'll watch the show. I'll get her done, and you did. What is this bird's role on this boat? I'm gonna, cause I've written the backstory basically. It's just a bunch of like other like miscellaneous stuff I need to do. Roles on a boat. What do you do on a boat? Folks, what do you do on a boat? What the hell is a JST? Am I going into some weird government shit? Jubilee Sailing Trust. That's cute. Okay, merchant seafarers. Hey, this is useful. Okay, master, so the captain. First mate, second mate, bosun, chief engineer, second engineer, medical purser, cook, and watch leader. What the hell is a watch leader? And then bosun mate and cook's assistant who are volunteers. Oh, you're gonna explain it! Yes! Maintenance of on-deck areas like the sailing. Chief engineer. Upkeep of all engineering. Well, this is a... Yeah, okay, that's a bit too fancy of a ship, though, isn't it? Yeah, because that's made of, like, the clinky stuff. That's not made out of, like, wood or anything. I'm looking for a wood boat. Yeah, here we go. Here's what we want. Tell me a partial listing. I'll bet. I'll bet. Okay, modern ship. Deck officers. Right, okay, so, whatever. I would be a deck officer then. Chief mate, second mate, third mate / bosun, deck cadet, deck ratings, okay, boatswain, Brian, okay. It's a navigational watch. When on navigational watch. Okay, so that's, right, okay. I saw a really short YouTube video a while ago of a ship dropping anchor on a tugboat that was right underneath. It was hilarious. Someone got a little bit wet, yeah. Okay, alright, so we have a list of roles that are kind of already filled. Or like that are present on the boat. So captain, cabin boy, first lieutenant, first officer, cook and purser, quartermaster, stevedore? What's a stevedore? What is a stevedore? Help, what is a stevedore? At dock to load and unload. Okay. A Cooper, I vaguely know what a Cooper is. That's like the barrel person, right? A clerk, pest control. I mean, is an owl person good at pest control? That's a question that can be asked. Navigator, lookout, pilot, musician. Well, okay. Grand academics, acolytes, and assistants. Gunners. That was a best monkey. What is a best monkey? I'm sorry, what? Ship? Help? What? What's a best monkey? What's a best monkey? You can't just show me a list that includes a role called best monkey and not tell me what that is. Because I know roughly what everything else is. I can fill in the gaps, and I do know which roles are definitely filled. So like well, technically quartermaster isn't covered on this boat. On this specific boat. Somebody's good at climbing ropes. I mean, if you can just fly, you don't need to climb a rope, so... I mean, I guess that's the question I should probably ask before I decide what Darcy does. Can owl folk in this setting fly? Like, can they? That doesn't mean Darcy can, because maybe Darcy's been injured and that's why she's no longer like a royal spy or whatever. But like, can they fly? They can. Okay. So in that case, assuming that Darcy can still fly, I haven't even decided that because she might have been injured, because we have to explain how the fuck she got here. And since she's an Arcadian rogue, we assume that she's a spy, or she was. So it's like, okay, why are you on this boat then? If she can fly, then the obvious job for her would be lookout, because she can literally fucking fly. She can just see shit. Probably doesn't hurt to have. If she can't fly, then I have no idea what she does. And I kind of want her to fly, because that sounds interesting. Yeah, post the link to the tugboat video, and then I can watch it when the stream ends. I want to see this tugboat. I want to see the boat dropping anchor on that tugboat. I'm gonna make a note. So, can she still fly? Is that why she's here? E.g., she got injured, and that's why she's not still a funky cool spy for the English. Okay, excellent. I'm gonna copy that link. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna chuck it in the other window. And I'm gonna pause I'm gonna mute the window. I'm gonna mute the site. Okay. There we go. Excellent. Alright, that is now ready for me to watch. I am excited to see this boat. 12 seconds of boat time. I love boats. I don't. Well, like, I kind of love boats. Okay, so can she still fly? Is that why she's here? E.g., she got injured, and that's why she's not still a funky cool spy for the English. What's her stat block? I have it. Where's her stat block? Her stat block is this one. Copy. Stat block. Instead, if you know a stat block. Because she can cast blur. Well, she can't yet, because she's like level 1. The equivalent thereof. That doesn't really give me an idea of what she does. Because that's mostly magical based. Doesn't really have anything to do with her innate abilities as a person who is an owl. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about Darcy more, because I have, like, with Tarek, I kinda know what his vibe is, I know what his personality is, I know what his, like, class and everything is, and it's pretty easy to figure out why he is relevant to Niall, because he is the helmsman, or he is one of the helmsmen. Because I'm assuming there's more than one helmsman on this boat. Because the thing with Tarek is, because he's a dwarf, he's probably not great at piloting the boat when it's close to shore, because he can't see. But he's great at piloting in the open ocean because it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to be able to see overboard to pilot a boat when it's in the open ocean. When it's near the coast, it really helps to just be able to see that little bit of extra over the side, but he can't, which is why he has a box. Which is great. I love this man's box. And then Darcy's just an owl. I don't know what her vibe is. So she, if can fly, look out. If can't, something roguish, something rogue-like. She could be the other helmsman, but that sounds kind of boring. She could also, well, I guess you can be a nerd if you're a rogue. A rogue can be a nerd, and she has int save. Well, she's good at Arcana. She could be one of the academics. If no, one of the academics? Because then that kind of explains why Niall would get to know her fairly closely, because Niall is a nerd. Specifically an Arcana nerd at this point, so that kind of makes sense. That has helped a lot, actually, to have that list of the kind of roles that you expect to be filled out on this boat, because now I can try and slot them in. Tarek's one of the pilots, I think, by dint of what we've used as words. He's one of the pilots. But yeah, that'll work. Anyway, it's 1 a.m. It is 1 in the morning. It is 1 the a.m. in the very wet, southeast coast of Australia. I'm not even on the coast. And so, since it is 1 a.m., that of course means the stream is over. And as such, we will be heading off to raid, as per usual, on a Tuesday. Technically a Wednesday, but it's a Tuesday. We will, of course, be raiding RPG Dinosaur Bob. And I've already posted the raid call, which is get ready, and you can use channel points to claim the emoji so you can spam flaming toast at people. And you just go, yeah! And that's what it's there for. So thank you all very much for coming. I actually got a decent amount done today, but it did help that I kind of already knew most of this stuff and just needed to write it down properly. Yeah, thank you for coming. Hopefully you all had a fun time listening to me ramble about my Warlock OC, my D&D player character thing. Hopefully I will see many of you around in the future. Saturday will probably be an art stream, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, hopefully I'll see many of you around in the future. Have a lovely day, no matter what it is that you are going to do with it. See you all around. Goodbye.